Oh, that's something good right there. Definitely got to mark it. Wow. Okay, okay. Hey, what is going on, FishAholic fam? Welcome back to another episode, and today we are switching things up. I just got out here on the creek here in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and I came up here to have a family get together, and I want to give a huge shout out to my older sister Erica and Josh for getting engaged a couple days ago, and that was kind of the point of this trip up here. And now the fam is back at where we're staying, and I'm sneaking out for the morning and maybe early afternoon to try and see if we can get on maybe some light tackle, inshore redfish, black drum, trout, or flounder. And I haven't fished this area in quite some time, so it feels really good to be back, and I'm excited to see what we can catch. So stay tuned. Let's start working along maybe some oyster bars and some docks and some creek mouths that are emptying into the larger creek here, and maybe we'll get lucky with some fish. All right, let's try tossing around this little shrimp lure first because I have it tied on. And of course, we're gonna coat this little shrimp lure with a little Procure shrimp fish scent. And you know, this lure would probably work without it, but when fishing for redfish, trout, black drum, flounder, I like to have a little flavor on there so that when they do eat it, they'll hold it a little bit longer, so we'll have more time to set the hook. This first dock right here usually is pretty fishy, so we're gonna start off here and maybe we'll be able to bang out a fish real quick, and then the next dock down also can be pretty productive. We're getting down to like the last hour or 2 hours or so of outgoing tide, which could be good because it's going to concentrate the fish in the deep little holes in this main creek, or it could also push all the fish out of here, and then we'll have to wait for maybe the incoming tide to bring some fish back in. But we'll see. You know, we're definitely going to fish 2 to 3 hours into the incoming, and maybe we'll be able to find out which tide the fish chew the best on. I'm hoping that they'll hit still on this outgoing and on the beginning of the incoming. Most of this creek right now is like 2 feet or less, but right in this hole under this dock, it's almost 5.5 feet. So that's why fish like to hang on this structure, because it's slightly deeper, especially when this tide drops out. If I don't get any bites on these 2 docks here, I may just start riding out with the outgoing tide until we get to the inlet. Oh, got some good oysters right here. Sadly, nothing here. Generally, if there's fish on this dock, it should happen pretty quickly. 1 or 2 casts in here should tell you if they're here or not. We'll try it again a little later when the tide's coming in. There might also be some flounder right on the first drop along here. You you know what? I actually remember this dock and the next dock used to hold a lot of fish. So we'll hit the second one and that third one. And then if nothing, we'll head down towards the inlet. These oysters right here look pretty fishy. Maybe there'll be a little redfish along here. Generally, redfish like to go up on the oysters and they'll pick through it looking for crabs and little shrimp. And oh, that was a big mullet, I think. Oh, there's a lot of mullet here. Loads of pretty large mullet. Right around this bend here is the inlet, and if it's not too rough, I'm actually considering maybe going out onto the ocean. Maybe if I can get out there into like 30 feet of water, I could vertical jig some nice fish. Let's try moving out through this inlet, and way out there I can see waves breaking, so it looks like there's like an outer sandbar after you get through this inlet, and maybe there'll be a little spot that I could sneak out where there won't be any waves, but if there isn't, then we'll just stick to the creek, and I guess we're just gonna have to wait for this incoming tide to probably bring us in some fish. And there might also be some fish just feeding in the waves out there that we could try casting into, so we'll see. But there's a lot of guys fishing in the creek and not a whole lot of catching. That's one thing I know for certain. Well, the good news is it looks like the waves aren't too big, so we might be able to sneak out onto the ocean. And then the tide's going to be coming in on our way back in, so usually on an incoming tide, the waves aren't as bad at an inlet like this. Usually it's worse on an outgoing tide. So we'll see what happens. We might get a little wet. We might not. Who knows? I'm taking the chance. Oh no. First wave over the bow. Whew. That was a good one. Well, I think we made it. I just saw some fish busting below a couple birds out there, so that's a good sign. Look at that, guys. I just went over some fish. And some more fish. We got some life out here. Better than what was in the creek. All right, I just checked the wind finder app just to make sure that the swell isn't gonna increase by a lot. And it looks like until 4 p.m. the swell is literally gonna be like 0.8, and then it's gonna increase to 1.0 feet by 4. And I don't plan on being out here until 4 p.m. so I think we have a good amount of time to kind of explore out here on the ocean. I've never been out in this section outside of Pawleys Island, actually, where I'm fishing out of right now. So we'll see what we can find. Since we're in some deeper water, I think it's time to make a lure change. This little paddle tail on a 1/2 ounce jig head should get a bite. And ideally what I need to do now is scour my chart and try to find any kind of high spot that maybe is in like 30, 25 feet of water, and maybe it comes up like 5 or 10 feet because of either like a hump or maybe a rock pile. And then that's probably where we could find some hungry redfish. All right, I think I found something that looks kind of good. Right here, it looks like it's 30 to 35 feet in this general area, but then there's a high spot where it comes up to like 24 in one spot and 27 in another spot. Let's just mark that, and we will go there. Oh, look at all that bait we just went over. Sadly, no fish on it. We're almost to our first mark. Oh, but God, it's hit boiling hot. We're out here probably about like 1.5 miles now. I've been working my butt off. And I dressed really warm because I thought it was gonna be much colder. And I even have long johns underneath my pants that are underneath my skins. Oh, let's take these skins off. It looks like we just have maybe 100, 200 yards left until we get to the spot. All right, we're just about here. The chart was pretty accurate with the bottom contour. And although I'm not marking much, I'm just gonna try jigging. There could be flounder down there that I'm not gonna mark. And then there also could just be, you know, a redfish here and there that could swim into the strike zone. You know, they might not be stacked up and schooled here. We'll give this one drift or so. All right, y'all, we're moving. No bites. And I marked barely anything at that first spot that I dropped down on. And I started scouring all over the chart for similar areas, and I found a couple spots that were like that a little bit further south, about like 2 miles or so. But being that the first spot that we hit was so futile, I zoomed out a little further, and around like 3.5 miles out further, but to the north a little more, there's some publicly marked reef structure, and we're averaging out at like 4.5 miles an hour while we're pedaling. So it's 10:30. I think if we can just push hard and work our butt off, maybe we can get out to that reef structure by like 11:30, and we'll jig it for a few hours, see what happens, and then beeline it back in before the wind and the sea conditions kick up like it's forecasted to. And I'm crossing my fingers that the forecast is correct. Otherwise, if it gets real nasty out here with a lot of wind, we're gonna be nearly like 5 or so miles out there. So it's gonna be a brutal and dangerous ride back in if the conditions don't stay the way they are. But for now, let's just think positive. It is gorgeous out here, as you can see, and hopefully our hard work pays off. Two and a half miles left to go. I'm grinding. If we're lucky, we'll get there before 11:30. All right, we made good time. It's 11:20 a.m. and I miscalculated a little bit. We're actually around 5.6 miles out here from the inlet. So that first spot that I marked and we went to, it was actually around 2 miles offshore. Oh, it's gonna be a fun ride back. But at least I have my Bixpy here, so I have electric power for the ride back in case I'm tired. There's one other guy out here fishing. I'm not marking any good structure yet. Come on, it's gonna be really sad if we don't catch at least one fish out here after going all those miles to get here. Marking some little stuff suspended. Oh. Now I'm starting to mark stuff on the bottom. Let's just drop right here. I see these 2 dots here are some obstructions on the bottom. Marking some other stuff down there too now. It'd be nice just to get a bite. If we're lucky, I think out here we could encounter some big redfish if they'll eat artificials today. I also have some little tiny metal jigs that I could, oh, there was a fish right there. And I could use the metal jigs to possibly catch bait fish, like little croaker maybe. And then we could send that down for a big redfish. We might even encounter some black sea bass here. Oh, another bite. Something small. Well, we had a couple bites here, but not really great bottom or marks down there. That's some better structure I just went over. Oh yeah, we're marking a lot of stuff right here. Some of the marks look decent too. Let's mark that. Oh, we're gonna get something here. We gotta get something. Come on. I really want to feel a hard thump so bad. Oh, another bite. Really tiny stuff though. Probably like little micro sea bass or lizard fish. Got something here. Oh, and it came off. Oh, got something. Probably a lizardfish. Or a little micro sea bass. My God, look how tiny this guy is. And I threaded him through the eyes. I'm sorry, buddy. Something's gonna eat that guy. Let's keep moving. I gotta find better structure. Oh, look at that mark right on the bottom. That's gotta be a big redfish. Or a bunch of big redfish. That's something better. What do we got here? No way, it's a weak fish, dude. Yeah, so cool. I haven't caught a weak fish in a really long time. Look at that. A very close relative to the speckled trout that's commonly caught in these waters. I've never been on this spot before, but I'm sure it's common. See ya. Oh, that's so awesome. I already marked this little spot because as soon as I dropped down, I saw some stuff on the screen near the bottom, and maybe it's a school of weak fish. Let's go back over that school and jig it again. Another fish. That was on the drop. It's got some good weight to it. What is that? Oh, a little grunt. Come on, buddy. What are you doing? A big redfish would probably inhale that too. So it's good to know that they're down there, because that could be forage that we could catch and fill in our bucket behind us, and then we'll have a lot of live bait to use. Look at that. Nice marks right there. I think those are the weak fish. Got something else small here. Oh man, look at that little pinfish. I'm gonna throw this guy in the bucket because this could be really good live bait for a big red drum. He'll be good in there for a bit. All right, let's see if we can get something better than a grunt and a pinfish. Ah, something else little here. Another sea bass. A little bit bigger though, at least. I'm going to try drifting a little bit further, and maybe we'll stumble upon some better marks or better bottom structure. Another fish. I think I snagged something again. Or this might not be a grunt, it might be a pigfish. It's grunting like a grunt, but I think it's a pig. Another pinfish. Whoa, there's something decent that just chased this up to the surface. And is it a lizardfish? Oh my God, it's a giant lizardfish. PB lizardfish. I've never had one of these guys chase it up that far from the bottom and eat it. Cool looking fish, but still trash. Oh, that's something good right there. Definitely got to mark it. Wow. Okay, okay. What do I got here? Whoa, definitely something big. This has to be a bull red. Or maybe like a medium-sized red, but I snagged them or something. I don't know. It's a good fish though. Oh, there he goes. Oh, yeah. This is what we were after when I was thinking about coming to this spot. This might be the fish of the day, so I gotta play him light. And I gotta hope that I can bring him up to the net. I wasn't marking any sizable marks down there either. I kind of drifted a little bit off the structure and it was just barren bottom like that. The setup I'm using right now is the 4000 frigate paired up with the 7'6" medium fast action dark matter FishAholic spinning rod. So a super fun light and short setup to tangle with some nice fish like this. Oh, I just saw him. What is it gonna be? Oh, it's a nice red. Heck yeah. She's a pretty one. Beautiful. Look at that. Oh no! We got her. Look at that fatty right there. Whoo! Perfect corner of the mouth hook set. All right, one last closer look at this beauty here. That was so fun. Let's get a healthy release now and hopefully we can get another one. That might be the biggest fish of the day, unless we can get lucky and find one like 40 plus inches, and that would be one heck of a fight. Oh, another fish. It's got good weight, whatever it is. Oh no, another lizardfish. Jesus. All right, I'm kind of struggling a little bit. I'm not getting any more larger redfish to eat, and we're starting to get a little bit more of a breeze out here. So I'm gonna try maybe this Nomad Vibe on the next drift, because this I can get to the bottom a lot quicker than the swim bait. All right, here we go. This should get a big bite. I would say we only have probably like an hour left of time to probably jig here before I think we should start getting back or heading back. Wow, that was quick. Fish on. As soon as it got down to the bottom. Is that a gag grouper? No way. What? I didn't know South Carolina had gag grouper offshore here. Pretty cool. Look at that. Sweet. My God. The fish are all over this. As soon as it gets to the bottom, I'm getting bit. Oh, I got a little bluefish here. A really good eating one. This is what you call a cocktail blue, or like a little snapper blue. Let's check my line because they have razor sharp teeth. The vibe seems okay, and so does my leader. Fish on. Something different again. A little bit bigger sea bass. Probably the biggest of the day. Sweet. Oh, look at that. I snagged a little puffer fish somehow. What's up, cutie? There's something else that feels decent. He ate that swim bait. Another decent sea bass. Ah, no. Another bluefish. This guy almost cut us off. Oh my gosh. The bluefish are going crazy right now. They're stacked up under me. I can't even get this swim bait to the bottom. All right, sadly that's gonna be a wrap for this offshore spot just because of this wind kicking up. I think that we should play it safe and start heading back. So let's pop the Bixpy in so we can kind of chill for a bit. Let's get rid of that pinfish. There we go. So nice to have an electric motor so we can actually chill and relax and eat our lunch. I've got a nice lettuce, turkey, salami, tomato, and Swiss cheese sandwich here. And I'm really happy with how we did at that offshore spot there. It was my first time there, and we caught fish. Caught quite a few sea bass, one nice weak fish, and one stud red. So I couldn't be any happier. Stay tuned. I'm gonna chill, finish my lunch, and maybe we'll also, find some other structure on the way in that we could fish, but if not, I'll see you guys back at the creek. And it's gonna be interesting to see how the inlet mouth is. It might be a little rough, and I might try and film me kayaking through it, especially if there's some waves breaking, because it could be kind of interesting. All right, I just got back to the inlet. It doesn't look too rough, so I should be able to sneak right in. I'm trying to be quick. I'm getting into the danger zone. I can see the bottom. Oh man. Whew. I just narrowly escaped that one. We're good. I ripped right through there. All right, let's try this swim bait and jig combo. I didn't try it earlier, and I was thinking I should have. That looks good. Oh man, I just got bit right there. Dang it. I gave him slack, and then he spit it before I could set on him. This water is so gin clear. Let's try taking a few casts with the slot machine rod here that has 15-pound leader on it. And let's try one of these micro voodoo shrimp. Something really subtle like this on light line should definitely get a fish to eat. There he is. Fish on. Oh, we found a little micro flounder. Sweet. So guys, still nothing on these docks here. I'm noticing the current and the wind is hitting along this grassy point over here, and it looks pretty fishy. I saw some mullet jumping too, so let's go over there and try it. Oh, just got a bite right there. There he is. Something decent there. We found a little puppy redfish. And all it took was dropping to some light line and a smaller presentation. Let's try that again right along this grass edge, right? And there's another one. This might be a flounder. Oh yeah, flounder number 2. There we go. Nice little evening dusk bite. And on some really fun light tackle, so the fish aren't too big, but because I'm using light tackle, it makes it really fun. For the redfish, you want to try and get this as close to the grass as you can without getting hung up, and that's where they like to patrol as the tide starts to drop out, because when the tide goes way up and it's high enough, they'll actually swim in the grass. So then as it slowly starts to drop, they drop out of the grass and start patrolling the edges. And then they're also waiting for any little shrimp or crab or mud minnow to get flushed out with them. And then they just have a feast right along the edge of the grass. I think once we get up to the end of this grass line, I think we'll call it. I got a fish on here, but oh man, he popped off. That was weird. That seemed like something nice. My drag was way too loose. I didn't get a good hook set in on him. I was a little afraid to break a fish off, so that's why my drag was so loose, but I tightened it just a little bit more. We'll get the next one. Another flounder. Look at that. Jeez, I can't grab him. There's a floppy one. Sadly, no big flounder. We might find one though. Something like 4 pounds would be pretty nice. Oh, there's a better fish. Maybe. No, another little puppy red. Sweet. I got this one in the side of the head. That's not how you're supposed to eat it, buddy. Sweet. They're feeding along this little grass line. There he is. Ooh, that might be a keeper flounder, boys and girls. Oh yeah. Not bad. Definitely a keeper. But we're gonna throw them back because I do not have ice in my cooler. Well, there goes the sun. I'm gonna give it like 5 more minutes and then we're out of here. It was a good day. I'm glad we went out into the ocean. Otherwise, I feel like if we stayed in the creek here, we would have only caught small flounder and little reds. There he is. That's gotta be another red. Oh no, it's actually a nice trout. A really nice speck. There we go. What an awesome day today. This would be going in the box as well if I had my cooler and some ice. All right, y'all. Well, that is going to be a wrap. We're heading in, and I had an amazing time out here on the water filming this video for y'all, and we had to work our butt off, I'll be honest. And I really did not think that we were going to be going 6 miles offshore to catch fish, but it paid off. You know, the creek was really slow earlier on, and that probably had something to do with the cooler air temperature. The water was cooler, and I just didn't get any bites the first like hour and a half on the creek here. So I made the right decision just to head out into the ocean and cover some miles. Found a really cool spot, found a bunch of fish, and I was able to then come back in, and the water temp was warmer, and the tide had switched, and it's the very beginning of the outgoing, and the fish were chewing. We found 2 or 3 little reds, a nice trout, and a bunch of flounder. So I can't be any happier. And if you guys enjoyed this video, please smash the like button and hit that subscribe button and that little bell notification button so you know when I post future uploads. And like always, folks, live to fish, fish to live.